You can't stop thinking about the past, can you? Your past self, because he was so much more confident. Because back then everything just hit different, didn't it? The sun shined a little brighter, the friend group you had was just so full, everyone thought you were the guy, you thought you were the guy. And I get it, but I've got some news for you, Chief. That Donnie that you keep thinking about, you are 10 times better than he is. For 2 reasons. 1, beautiful quote. Eventually, terrible memories turn into great ones. That Donnie that you're thinking about, he wasn't as happy as you make him out to be. He was either thinking about the past himself, because that's what we're wired to do as humans, or he was thinking about his future. But now that you're distant enough from it, you're in the present, and of course the human brain does what it does, thinks about the past or the future, but never the present. You convince yourself that he was better than you. Secondly, just because things aren't easy right now, doesn't mean they're not good. Do you want them to be easy? Do you want to live an easy life? Do you want everything handed to you? The reason things were better back then is because you had less responsibility. You were ignorant, maybe a little bit stupid. The reason things aren't as easy now, maybe you're not as confident, is because you're having to rebuild your confidence. You're in the big wide world. Or whatever challenge you're going through now is growing you. That pain you're feeling is growing pains. You're finding a newfound confidence, maybe even a new personality, because we're like caterpillars and butterflies. We constantly expand and blossom just to cocoon ourselves so we can learn again, just to blossom again. It's like a cycle. We don't even realize we're doing it. When we go to a new place, we reform our identity, we take on these new things, but it's scary, it's different. Sometimes we have to destroy everything we know about ourselves to build a better self. I've done it many times. I probably will again in the future. I mean, I'm very young, so it's likely. And in these periods of pain, it's so easy to look back with nostalgia when everything was easier, like you were better back then. Of course you're not. You could run yards around your old self. You convince yourself that everything was better back then because you didn't appreciate what you had back then enough. You're almost spiteful. Well, guess what? You're not appreciating the present right now. There's a future version of yourself looking back at you right now, wishing you'd appreciate the present more now. It's the human condition to not be grateful for the present, to take things for granted. But the joke is on you, because you're always going to feel, I guarantee you, in a year, that version of yourself, that future version of yourself, whoever he will be, whoever she will be, will look back at you right now with fondness and nostalgia, the same nostalgia you're looking back at your past self with. And if you are going through any trauma right now, any hard memories, they'll look back at it as character development almost. They'll look back at it like it's a good thing. I guarantee you. So what do? Well, you can't force yourself not to feel pain. Give me a second, this leaf's being a little dickhead. Thank you. You can't force yourself not to feel pain, but you can change how you perceive it. You can either perceive it as a victim, like it shouldn't be happening to you, like you are hard done by, or you can perceive it as growth and accept it. And almost say, bring more to life. This era you are in right now will never happen again. You might have similar things in the future which remind you of where you are right now, but you will never, ever, ever be where you are exactly again. The person you are right now one day will die to make room for the next better version of yourself, because that's how it goes. You never get worse unless you actively try to. You're always growing, you're always expanding. That's what we do as human beings. So make the most of it. It's impossible to be grateful and present every single second, but try and be. Accept who you are right now to the fullest of its extent. Hold on tightly to that, and when it's time to let go lightly. Don't hold on to these past versions of ourselves, this past confidence, this energy you've got, how life is right now. Accept it. This is like a new chapter, a new era, a new season, whatever. Live in it. Live in these new shoes, or however long you've been in these shoes, for as long as necessary. Accept it, because one day when it's time to put on different shoes, when it's time to become a different person, you'll look back with the same nostalgia and admiration, and you'll miss this version of yourself, just like you are doing to this other version of yourself that you're talking about right now. The trick is to just always be grateful for what life is giving you, for what shoes, for what lenses, for what perception life is giving you. That is the beauty. Because it's never boring, huh? You look back at this past version of yourself, but if you were always that Donny, it would be boring as hell. Yeah, I was confident, I had a happy life, I stayed in the same town, nothing changed, and I died. Brilliant story. Where's the drama? Where's the hardship? Where's the adversity? If you're going through adversity right now, if you're going through something difficult, that is just to fuel and to justify the euphoria you will feel later on in life, because you had to go through the hardship to get to the goodness, and then again and again and again. And the hardship you can almost romanticize. I'm not saying romanticize your sadness, but you can accept it, you can take it on like a warrior. It's always a choice how you perceive things, how you accept things. So I'll leave you with that. So the reason you miss your old self so much is because you think it's better when it's not. First of all, you're forgetting about all the bad experiences and memories he had back then, or at least you're not realizing how much they meant to that Donny back then. Second of all, you're not accepting the present as much, which you should, because one day you're going to miss it the same way you missed that Donny. And third of all, things were easier because you hadn't grown as much. You are better 10 times because you have been through more. You've grown more, you've expanded more. And that's a simple fact of it. So instead of missing your old, you can miss your old self, but look back fondly, not with a pain. There's two different types of nostalgia, which I've realized. There's painful nostalgia, where you wish things were as easy as they were. And there's good nostalgia, where you look back and go, yeah, that was a good time in my life. And I'm grateful for that time, and I'm grateful for this time as well, because that led me to where I am. Always be grateful for the present, no matter what it throws at you. Pain, trauma, happiness, excitement, euphoria, adversity. Accept it as part of your growth. And no matter how many shoes you put on, how many people you become, accept it as your journey. Because when you look back and you look at all these different people you have been, all these different lenses and colours you have explored, you'll realise that you have lived a full life, exploring multiple ends of your personality. I'll see you tomorrow, Chief. Stay grateful. Say less.